Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. And in this video, I'm going to be discussing how to eliminate any kind of noise or ground hum that you might encounter when building a pedal board for your bass guitar. This is a viewer request of sorts. I did a video recently on my rack effects unit, which I built over 20 years ago, and that's my main rig that I use. This board is exactly how you would expect it to be. It's obnoxious. It's overly sized for what I really need and do on a regular basis, but this is more of a jam type of pedal board, if you will. But the pedal board in general has become superior again because of the HX Stomp, the Quad Cortex, other modelers that are on the floor like this. And this is really where a lot of guys will run into some issues with noise and hum and things like that. And honestly, for what you are building, whether you're doing a simple, one or two pedal board, or if you're going all out crazy like this, you're really going to have to go and think about what you're going to be using to power those pedals, because that's where 99% of the noise comes from. There are a few other places, but I'll go over that. So the first place you really got to start when you're building any kind of pedal board is to get a good power supply. The power supply is where everything starts. And what I'm powering with this very large pedal board is the K-Line Technologies CP206. This is one of their earlier models with the USB on top, but they still make that particular model number, just doesn't have the USB. It is a true isolated power supply, and what that means is that the wall wart that is plugged into the wall here, I just got a little multi-tap there, and it will go and power this power brick. There is no direct connection back to the AC mains, and each one of these individual, well, I can't really see my finger here, but the individual outputs here are not interacting with each other, meaning that they each have their own separate grounds to power each individual pedal that is on this board. And that's very important because you do not want to have the potential for ground loops when you have, say, a daisy chain type of power supply, for example. That is really the main source for most of the hum that you're going to find on any kind of pedal board. It doesn't matter what kind of pedal you're running. And these Digitech X Series pedals, well, they could be noisy, but if you implement them correctly, they could be just as good as an analog, although you will get a different sound, of course. I'm not going to go there because there's always a lot of debate on what's better, analog or digital. It depends on the sound that you're really going for. The next piece, as far as mitigating any kind of high noise floor, for example, is there is a method to how to connect your pedals and how to use them. There is no rule, but basically you would start off with any kind of pitch shifting here with the bass whammy. We have a tuner. Every guy needs to have a tuner. We have an envelope synth filter, compression, any overdrive and distortion, and that's going to run to the front of your amplifier. From there, we're going to be in the effects loop, so any kind of modulation or time-based effects, chorus, phaser, flanger, we have delay, we have reverb, and finally here we have a little extra that I like to use. I have a volume pedal, and then after the volume pedal, I have a 10-band EQ, and that will go in the effects loop. All that will go into the effects loop of the amplifier. And the interesting thing with this pedal is that not only is it a volume pedal, it's got a little bit of emulation, such as it's making me sound like a 1x18, even though I'm playing through a 410 at the moment. And it also has a noise gate. Noise gates, you don't see an individual pedal like that here on this board. It's being done by this particular board. That's important to have because noise gates negate any kind of issues that you might run into that there's no problem with your pedal board. It's just bringing that noise floor down to where in between sets or in between songs, you're not hearing the or whatever sound that your amplifier is sitting there at idle. It's not because there's anything wrong with it. It's just that all these pedals interacting with each other is going to inevitably create noise, but not so much to where it would be such a problem. So I'm going to go ahead and put you guys on the tripod briefly. I'll let you listen to a direct interface with everything that's on this board. For as crazy as it looks, it's connected to the DI out of my Mini Mega, and we'll just take a quick listen here on the tripod of what it sounds like with my 12-string bass that is currently around my neck, and hope you enjoy. Well, guys, I hope that gives you an idea of how you can set up your pedal board effectively. And it's really just a lot of basic stuff, making sure you think ahead of how you want to implement your different pedals here. And I went crazy stupid on this particular pedal board. It does not see any gigging work for obvious reasons. One, it's very large, it's very heavy to move around. It sounds incredible. But at any given time, for most of the gigs that I do as a bass player, typical blue-collar bass player, I will use the bass whammy, which is a unique effect for down tuning, adjusting my tuning from 440 to half a step, or for full step in some cases if my bass isn't already tuned that way. I'll have a little bit of compression in my rack unit, and then for the songs that call for it, I'll use a little bit of chorus. Everything else, yep, don't need it. It's just not necessary at all. If I was to build a very basic pedal board, it would just be compression and chorus, maybe a preamp driver like a SansAmp DI driver. That's it, along with the bass whammy, of course. And that's all I would really... Oh, yeah, and a tuner. You can't forget a tuner. The tuner's the most important. That's about it. Everything else is more for showing off and flash. I will fully admit that. But hope you enjoy the video, guys. If you have any particular electronics questions, please let me know. This was fun to do, and hope to see you guys on the next video. Cheers.